Headliner Nation, if you've ever wanted to go inside the mind of an NFL quarterback, we are going to do it right now. I am super excited to have special guest Kurt Benkert on the show today. He has stints in the NFL with the Atlanta Falcons, the Green Bay Packers, the San Francisco 49ers, and has even played in the XFL. Not only that, but he has recently published a set of books where he takes you inside the mind of an NFL quarterback and helps break down the language that NFL players and teams use to help you better understand the game. I love the book. I have it, and I highly recommend you get yours as well. The link for it is going to be in the description of the video below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into my interview with him. It was such a great interview that we've had to break it out into two separate interviews. So check out part one, and part two will be coming over the weekend. All right, let's talk about the upcoming season, 2023. And one of the teams that has so many question marks at the quarterback position right now is San Francisco, spending that high pick on Trey Lance a couple of years ago, and then Mr. Irrelevant himself, Brock Purdy, kind of coming out of nowhere at the end of last season to kind of hold on to that job. And if it had not been for the injury in the playoffs, who knows where San Francisco would have been at the end of the year. So as you look at that team heading into 2023, if I were to tell you Trey Lance and Brock Purdy are both going to be 100% healthy heading into the season, who do you think has the upper hand on the job right now?
It's going to be Brock. And I think that comes straight from Shanahan's mouth, probably. I think it's one of those things, a lot of times in the league, teams that are looking for success, they will go with what might be the sexiest guy with the highest ceiling, coolest play style, whatever, which I would say in that situation, Trey Lance probably has the highest ceiling of the two. But knowing the 49ers, they're in a win now. They're ready to win. They can win a Super Bowl this year. They have a guy that already got them basically to the Super Bowl if you don't count that injury. I think they would have won that game, to be honest. They were handling it pretty solid early. But yeah, I think that when you have a team that's ready to win right now, you are not going to risk anything to give a guy a chance when you know you can win right now with a guy you already had. As long as Purdy's able to get back to 100% the time the season starts. That's how I see it shaking out. But again, that's not a knock to Trey. I think Trey's super talented. I think he can play. Both of them can play. All three of the guys in that room can play. And the beauty of it is in that system, you don't have to be a superhero to play well. They've done really well with Jimmy Garoppolo for a long time, playing consistent, above average football, and they've been winning a lot of games. And all three of those guys have, in my opinion, a little more juice than Jimmy had, whether it's arm talent or mobility. And I don't know, I'm excited to see what that shakes out like. It's a long season. I wouldn't be shocked if all three at some point have to play because of injuries. But that's going to be one I think the whole league is kind of keeping tabs on, of who's playing, who's developing, who's emerging, all that good stuff.
That was going to kind of be my next question for you too, and I'm not a huge fan when teams do this, but I'm not an NFL coach. So I'm going to say, hey, whatever you think is best for your team, that's fine. But do you foresee any type of an instance where maybe Brock is the starter, but there's going to be certain packages and they're going to do certain things with Trey Lance, or they try to move guys in and out a little bit? Do you foresee them trying to do that at all?
Maybe with Trey a little bit, but I don't see that. I don't think this is the same situation where Jimmy's the one and Trey's the two that they're trying to develop. Brock's younger, or maybe he might actually be older age wise, because Trey came out pretty young, but development wise, you're not trying to play Brock while developing Trey, in my opinion. You're just trying to win games. You're trying to get your guys fed. You're trying to set up things for the next few weeks. I mean, I'm sure they'll have some wrinkles here and there, but it's also tough for a guy like Trey to just come in for a couple plays a game and then dip out, because you're sitting on the sideline not doing anything. So if you're not in the flow of the game, it's kind of hard to get into a rhythm. And I don't know. I don't see it playing out like that.
So let's move from the West Coast up north. Big changes in Green Bay this year. The talk of the offseason has been the Aaron Rodgers trade over to the New York Jets. And that's been burnt down, I think, enough at this point. I think people have kind of broken down the Jets and Rodgers. But are we talking enough about Jordan Love? Is he going to step up and kind of be the guy that Green Bay has been used to seeing at the quarterback position for the last 20-something years between Favre and Rodgers?
Yeah, I actually don't think they're going to ask him to do that. I think that they're going to lean really heavily on LaFleur's older system that he used in Tennessee, where it's really run heavy, play action, boot, try to get as many easy completions. And then when, he needs to make a play, he needs to make a play. But I don't even think they're going to put that on him. I think they have two really talented running backs. They have a solid young receiving core, and their defense should be pretty good this year. And I think they're going to try to be as complete of a team as possible. I kind of look at them as the Atlanta Falcons of last year, where the team ran the ball a lot. They controlled the clock. They played gritty defense, and they're going to try to win games that way. That's how I see it playing out. I don't think they're going to ask Jordan to be the savior, nor should they. They shouldn't expect that from him. They've been able to get away with it for a long time with having a superstar at quarterback, and kind of covers up some of the holes in the team. But I think it's going to require everyone now to elevate their game. Not saying that Jordan cannot be that guy, but I don't think they're going to even ask him to do that.
Going into this season, I have been talking about Aaron Jones a lot, and I felt like he was going to become a really big part of this game plan, considering you do have, some good young receivers. But, Christian Watson was kind of up and down last year. They don't have like an established guy like they have had in the past. So Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon together are these guys where you look at them and you say, this is going to be a huge 1-2 punch this year, where both of them are going to get plenty of production.
100%. I think the offense is going to run through them, literally. And it's going to set up everything for everybody else. They're going to be a run first team that sets up the play action. I think you're going to see it very much be a blend between what you saw in Atlanta with Arthur Smith and how they built that offense, and what you see in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan, where it is run through the running backs to set up easier completions for the receivers through play action and all that good stuff. They have the guys to do it. So,
all right. So last question for you. This season in 2023, if we take out all of the rookie quarterbacks, what veteran quarterback do you look at and you say, man, this guy is definitely going to be the next breakout star at the quarterback position?
Ooh, I'm going to say Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
I think Trevor Lawrence, with that team down in Jacksonville, with those receivers, he has every last piece of the puzzle behind him and around him to have a excellent year with his team, his defense, the poor quality of football play in the AFC South, just put it out there, and the schedule. Everything is set up with all of that put together for him to have a crazy year. And he's talented too. I think he's going to really come into his own this year. Calvin Ridley is going to have a massive year, and everybody else is going to feed off around him.
So people are going to be happy to hear you say that.
Calvin Ridley, in my opinion, he might not have the most yards in the league this year. I don't think he'll get the most targets. I think he'll get a lot of targets, but he will have the most yards per catch without a doubt this year. You heard it here first.
All right. I love that. Yeah. I mean, we started to see a little bit with Trevor Lawrence last year, but I mean, I am so glad that they were able to get Doug Peterson in there and change up that franchise when they did, because it was headed for disaster, and I never want to see that for any young quarterback. So kudos to Jacksonville for scrapping that experiment as early as they did. But Kurt, I want you to just give the people a little bit of knowledge in terms of, you've got a book out, where they can find you, social media. Tell them a little bit about your book and everything. Let the people know how they can get more of this awesome information from you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So yes, my name's Kurt. I'll backtrack a little bit. I've been in the NFL for 5 years, and I'm making a little bit of a transition to dive into the NFL media world a little bit heavier than I have been. Recently, I wrote 3 guides that are being sold as a bundle called the NFL, or the 101 bundle at this point. And it has an NFL guide, a coverages guide, and a quarterback guide. And all 3 of those together kind of give you everything you need to know to get started down the path of talking the talk, understanding the terminology, and seeing it from a quarterback's perspective of what the game looks like. Outside of that, I do a lot on social media, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, all at Kurt Benkert across the board. And I got some exciting things coming up this fall. I'm currently building a course out for people to learn football from a foundational level, expanding on the guides. And I'm just trying to share the kind of the insider knowledge of football and how it's taught at the NFL level to fans, coaches, players, fantasy gurus, all that good stuff.
Awesome, Kurt. Hey, Headliner Nation, I'm going to have links down in the description of this video so you can go and check out his website and that book. If you want to order that, I highly recommend it. I've read it. I absolutely love it. It's the reason that I reached out to Kurt and I said, hey, would you be willing to come on and talk a little bit of football with us? So I would encourage you to do the same thing as well. I'll put his links to social media down in the description as well. But Kurt, really appreciate it. Thanks so much for hopping on with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Oh man, if you don't love that NFL talk right there, then there's something wrong with you. But hey, the link to his book is going to be in the description below. Again, Headliner Nation gets a special price, only $30. I highly recommend, if you love football, that you buy this and the rest of my interview with Kurt, where we break down all the incoming rookie quarterbacks, will be coming later in the week. Peace out, Headliner Nation. Stay safe and healthy, and I'll see y'all on the next episode.